Welcome to the analysis, live analysis rather, so I won't be able to respond to comments or alerts, but I will do so after the analysis. And if you got like any questions, feel free to just write them in chat and I will address them after the analysis. So we start with a mirror game between a raven wolf squirrel and the raven wolf squirrel, which is already very interesting because in the tournament format, it's not so common to pick the same clans as your opponents, because you would want to maybe counter pick someone, or maybe you feel more comfortable on other clans, and it's not necessary to mirror the opponent's clans like it is in some high elo rank game lobbies. So in this game I'm playing with Ben and Leonard, who are both very, very strong players here. And what's the highlight in this game is the pragmatic approach of how we did things. Everything was very, very well planned and well executed, in my opinion. So let's hop right into it. Of course, the first thing I do is I build a scout camp which is actually a slight detail. I'm building it on the left side of my tile, because I want to scout upwards, right? The map at the bottom, it's the end at the bottom, and I want to scout up. So that's where I built the scout camp. Just a minor detail. Of course, I'm moving a villager to the scout camp to assign the scouts, and I want to assign both scouts to this tile because I want to skip later on. Skipping means that in the fog of war, I can actually ignore the fog of war and just kind of move through it. And what we see here, it's actually the best tile you can get for Raven. Only having a shipwreck in this tile already makes it S tier. But I do not only have an open shipwreck, I have an open shipwreck with 2 sheep. That's actually insane. The only thing which made this tile better is having a stone as well. Having an open stone, but I don't even know if that's necessary, or possible, rather. So at this point, I know, okay, I have so much food, I have so much spare food here, I can build a second scout camp instantly. And that's what I do. I build a second scout camp. Once the tile is colonized, I'm building a house as well, because I tend to get housed a lot because I forget sometimes. And what I do here, is I skip, right? So you see the scouts are moving through the fog of war in order to finish the tiles that Leonard scouted for me to 90%. And this team play is insane, right? He did amazing job here. Scouting that to 90%. Obviously, I'd want to assign more scouts, so I do that. And once I finish the tiles on Leonard's side, I want to skip on Ben's side as well, and that's what I do. I skip with this scout as well. I assign the 4th scout, and now all I need to do is finish the scouting on their side and finish the scouting on my side. Very important to actually not take the treasure here, or rather the shipwreck, and wait for rangers first, so I can take the shipwreck faster. And what Leonard calls here is actually so good. You will see in a second. So I have open stone as well, which is very, very nice. And Leonard just calls me. He wants to help me with this tile as well. And this is actually so amazing, because if you look at the lore, I don't know if you can see it, I'm 35 lore away from rangers. So I'm 35 lore away from scaling massively. And Leonard knows that. And of course he could boom himself, and he could play Northgard himself, but he wants to boost me. Or rather he wants to help me. And this is actually amazing for me. So Leonard kind of handicaps himself to give me a slight advantage. And this slight advantage you will see in the game will turn to a huge advantage later on. So yeah, not building a third scout camp, that was misclicked. So I'm building a woodcutter here, I'm finishing the scouting, and together with Leonard's help, I will be able to hit rangers in a second. So I've got rangers now. That's awesome, and now the scouting begins. I need one scout to finish the shipwreck, obviously, and the others can scout themselves. What I can do here, I just realized I could have like waited with the woodcutters, because I will have enough wood with the shipwreck, but I really wanted the wood to kind of like build the stone mine here, because I thought like, okay, you will get lore hella fast. You wouldn't expect like how fast you will get the lore here with like 3 scouts out gathering the lore and scouting. So what I felt like, I was like, okay, let's pre-build the stone mine in a second. Obviously, like sending the wolf here. And yeah, got one wounded, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. I just realized there's mid, so I'll help with the mid, but actually with having rangers, with having like this speed of scouts, I thought like, okay, I will get mid for sure here. I got the mid, which is insane. Bonus fame, bonus lore, because the Raven doesn't get the lore from scouting middle. I'm the one getting it. And I can see like his 3 scouts in a second moving through the middle as well, so he was very, very near the middle as well. And you can also see like the maps scouted so much right now. So with the mining efficiency, I'm assigning the miners here to mine the stone, which I need for upgrading my scout camp. That's what I aim for. And the next things I want to do on my checklist, or rather, which I want to check mark, is upgrading main, upgrading scout, build a harbor, build a lighthouse, start raiding. So that's what I do. There's a little bit more scouting going on. And there's like one slight nuance to this I want to highlight again in a second. So obviously I'm waiting for carpentry here. I see that all of these tiles are colonized already, which means that I can't scout them yet without an upgraded scout camp. Going for exotic goods next. Once I hit the next lore, scouting this site. The other 2 scouts go to the other side, and it's really, really important to manage your scouts like all the time. Do not let them idle like ever. Hotkey your scouts and then like manage your scouts all the time. So rather like the early game is all about watching me scout. We see 2 bears on this side, which is interesting. That means there's 2 bears on Ben's side as well. At this point I'm running out of food and I don't want to eat my sheep yet, so I will reassign the woodcutter since I have enough wood here. And the next thing is upgrading the main with carpentry. So now I've got enough stone. I see another tile which I can scout, so I will do that on this side. The other scouts are going to top side. And now I just realized, okay, maybe I need more coins in order to get the lighthouse, because upgrading the main will cost me 40 gold and upgrading the scout camp will cost me 40 gold. And that means I'm like very, very short in gold. So I felt like, okay, in order for me to get the lighthouse down, which is very, very important, because with the lighthouse I can raid with 5 mercenaries, which is frankly speaking insane in 801. That's why I wanted to do this. And here, like in this spot with this wolf attack, I think I did like one of the few mistakes of the matches, because I've got a wolf attack here. And if you notice the stone, I only need one more stone to upgrade my scouts, which would be very, very good for me. And Ben called me that he like wants to defend the wolf here, because obviously the wolf will get 15 food off of that. But actually, it's more important for me to finish the scout camp rather than Ben getting the 15 food, which of course, obviously he doesn't know that I'm like one stone away from upgrading the scout camp. That's totally on me. But I shouldn't like have moved all of the villages out. I should have just like killed the wolf there. And now my scout camp gets a little bit delayed. But what I do here, as these scouts are at the bottom side and the other scouts are at the top side, before I move them to the top side, I wait with them at the border. Because Ben will be here in a second. So these two scouts wait there. I assign the miners. He pings. I assign them back in. And these two guys, they wait there. I'll have the fourth stone in a second. I'm just checking. Okay, I need like 40 more percent. And I hit the stone. Also, I hit a follow. Very important. And the scouts are upgraded now, and everything is so fast now. So getting the wolf den here as well, to get the extra stone, to get the extra fame. Upgrading the scouts means that I can finally scout the enemy bases, and getting all the sheep in order for me to feast. Because the squirrel cannot feast, right? So the squirrel gave me all the sheep that it had, and I feasted with it. So the next thing I do is go journeyman into yurts in a second, just checking the scouts. And now we see that the enemy wolf didn't go for the ruin, which was insane. And yeah, I finished the house in a second. I will survive the winter because I have one sheep. And now you can see I have like already 4 sailors in my harbor, which will increase to 5 once I want to raid. Just checking how much more coins I will need. And yeah, I have like so many resources now. The scouting is actually so fast. I will be actually like I will be able to scout the map in like 8:00, slightly into 8:01 January. This is like the fastest scouting of the map I've ever managed. Ever. Like this, even apart from this being a tournament game, like I would have like uploaded that anyway. So there goes my first raid into the wood food tile, because I need a lot of wood because I want the upgrades. I want to upgrade my harbor here. And I wound this villager, and since this villager is idle, I actually wait to finish it off. And I guess now my mercenaries finish him off. Yes, they did. So just optimizing the play, like step by step. So once the mercenaries are back, I will have a lot of wood. What I could do with this wood is I could upgrade my woodcutter, which we will notice is not on the coast. So the enemies like kind of did a mistake there. But I noticed like, okay, I have like so much wood, I can upgrade my harbor. And that's what I do. So I upgrade my harbor here, boost the coins production of my mercenaries, and the map scouted. There's just one little tile which is not scouted, but that doesn't really matter. The pirate told me that, yeah, okay, I mean, you can just let the tile be. It's not important for us because we want to finish this very, very fast. And now the question is, okay, do I want to raid or do I want to get the tile? And the answer is raid, of course. Get more wood, get more food, pleasantly survive the winter so I don't starve. Minus 17 is actually huge. So I raid again, and you will see like one more thing in a second. So I can like delete the scout camps here. I actually don't know why the scouts at the top they kind of bugged out. Like the scouts with the hotkeys 2 and 3. Dentist. And they kind of like backed out, but I didn't notice for a while. I actually assigned them to get back, but they didn't, apparently. I was not paying attention to that. But once I have like 6 sailors, of course, I will forge the sailors now. And after defending the wolf here, I realized something. Because there's a tile which is actually insane. This tile. Like, what is this? So you're telling me not only like is this tile colonized by the Raven, which is fine, I did that as well, but it's actually there's actually a Hunter's Lodge there. I'm actually like lost for words because like literally this move, I feel like this sealed the deal. This was at this point it was game over. I raid with 6 mercenaries. They can't defend the 6 mercenaries in 801 March. There's like literally no way. And I get not only like 6 iron and the 72 lore, but I also get like 300 food, which is massive. This is like very, very massive. So I can have one more forging upgrade for me. I will raid this now. Like he's losing so much. Ben is, I think, able to go there early later on, and I get so much out of it. Please don't mind the idle scouts. I have these 2 idle scouts for quite a while. I actually didn't realize, but Pirate who was watching, he didn't realize as well. So what I do now, I forge the sailors, obviously. I don't feel like I should upgrade my woodcutter. I usually would upgrade my woodcutter here. This would be the timing. I get all these beautiful resources. Forging the warriors. Maybe instead of forging the warriors, I could have went for the early leaf. But I felt like, okay, forging warriors and going for 4 warriors is better than going for the leaf. But all we need to do is go on the Raven now. So I'm actually forging. The call is, okay, you see on the minimap Leonard has converted as well. Ben has converted, so I select all the healthy guys who can become warriors and convert as well. With the 4 of them, I think I will be able to convert 3 here. And then the 4th one is coming later. And I'll move there. And now the problem was the plan was actually to raid the main with my mercenaries. That's why I saved up on coins a little bit. But what they did was actually like mad. They took, you will see in a second, after I defended the wolf, they actually moved all the pop. And what they did now, they entered. So they took the rather like bad entrance, but I couldn't like raid the main. So maybe what they did was good. They entered a little bit early, so green was late. And yeah, Ben moved his chief out. I got the squirrel chief, and later on you will actually notice. Of course, I'm getting the leaf, microing a little bit in my base. So later on, you will notice that the fight actually was really close, and we kind of like lost that. And I'm getting the leaf, getting the bodyguard, moving these to the enemy. And even though they defended, they lost so much. Like the squirrel lost everything, and the squirrel lost the chief. The raven lost like almost all of his population. And yeah, I mean, I have like I have so many coins now, and obviously like with the next convert of the wolf, and Ben converted a lot here, together with my 2 warriors and my leaf and the raid, which will come in actually. The game looks very, very nice for us. So I'm harassing with leaf here. I see this poor little deer hunter all alone, smacking him a bunch of times, moving out, and yeah, just getting on his nerves. Smacking the other deer hunter as well. That's what leaf does the best. And just waiting for my boys. And here come my boys. I actually rate this tile for good manner. What he does there actually, like the Raven danced very well there. Buy some time, but it doesn't really matter. In the end, it doesn't really matter. I get the raid off again. I get so much food, so much lore, so much iron again. And even if they like defended this, I've like, scaled so much. The game's literally over at this point, and we entered the main. And we wipe everything, and they will tap out in a second. So this was like the analysis for the first Raven game. Before I sum things up, I want to like highlight a couple of situations which I find are like very, very important. So they call GG here. The squirrel wants to fight again, but it's just too much. So the first thing I want to highlight, obviously, remember that you don't you mustn't ever build on the coast tiles if you can. Like in this case, I didn't play with any food, right? I didn't have any food tile because if I would have like built a hunter's lodge here, I mean, you've seen it yourself. It's just too much, right? You're giving away too many resources, and as a bonus, I got so much wood from the raven and the squirrel by raiding the wood line as well, that this boosted me so much. So even if like the rush wouldn't have ended the game, I would have scaled very, 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 very nicely. And the other thing is like giving props to my teammates, because the scouting here in the early game, like the skipping in the early game was very nice. And after this, like this ping by Leonard helping me with this tile, I think this sealed the deal. And you will see, if I skip a little bit to the stats. The stats are important as well, like to see sum things up. Actually, I don't know if I uploaded the stats. I'm not so sure right now. So if you see the GG stats, yes, I uploaded the stats. Nice. So you see, when you're looking at the lore, I have like rangers in June, and he has rangers in between July and August, which is so much later, and it like carries out throughout the game. So I got carpentry in October, and he got carpentry in January. Right? This is what made the early game. This is what made the game. And yeah, I really have to give props to my teammates here. So thank you for the analysis. I will now address the chat, like I said. So, yo, congrats on top 8. Thank you so much, man. And sub Beweed, sub Jacek, sub Dentist, and sub Magnus. Uni said, I think they pretty much gave up when you raided the tile. The pressure of your units on the deer iron tile. I mean, they let you snipe the war chief on the main tile afterwards. I think they lost in the early game. Your build-up was way faster and more efficient. I agree. So first of all, if you have to build on a coast tile, right? If you have to build a woodcutter or a hunter's lodge on the coast tile, you must pressure the mercenaries. So you either tower that, or the wolf is like camping this tile. And maybe the wolf should have like actually like camped the deer tile. In the game, it took me so long to actually realize that the raven built a hunter's lodge. Because I was like, yeah, there's no way he does that, so I didn't like even bother to look at it. But yeah, you're completely right that this had a huge impact. And I think, like you said in the early game, the build up. You can see the build up in the lore. This is like an insane difference. By the way, what I see in this lore path as well, he took journeyman before going mining efficiency into carpentry. And I don't think you need the happiness here. I think what counts is the scouting, right? Like scout ASAP. So maybe pick carpentry first here, because the game will be very, very short. So you don't need journeyman so early on. But like usually you can go mining efficiency exotic goods into journeyman, but you definitely have to go mining efficiency before going for journeyman in order to get the stone, right? In order to get the stone. Yeah, GG Crazy Dentist. Thank you, man. Yeah, they should probably watch. What's actually like really funny, I think they did like a kind of good job, and I think one of them told me that they watched the guides. So I think in theory they knew what to do, but if you're playing in the game, and I mean we saw that this game was slightly different because I had so many sheep, and I could have built a second scout camp, which is pretty unusual, right? So you can say a lot in guides, and I think I say like most of what you need in my guide, but I can't say everything. So it's like a combination of watching the guide and having the experience to like adapt to the situation, right? But yeah. Anyway, this was game 1. I felt really, really good about this game. Like this was almost perfect play.